Cash value life insurance is one of the most underrated vehicles to grow wealth and also to protect your money from taxes. And the sad part is that a lot of regular people just do not even know that these types of policies exist. I know for myself, I did not know that these were options until I actually got my life insurance license. And it wasn't even from the actual licensing part that I got a good understanding. It was from a conversation with another agent who really made me open my eyes to this. And so I'm not surprised that a lot of people just don't understand or know that like this is possible, because you don't know what you don't know, and you only know things based on what you are exposed to, right? So if everybody around us has an idea or has the belief that life insurance is only to leave money behind when you pass away, they don't understand that you can actually use life insurance while you're alive. Not only for the cash part, like there's multiple benefits that we're not going to go into like in this video specifically, but if you're not exposed to new people and new ideas and you just are used to hearing the same conversations with the people around you, then you're not going to know about different ways or different opportunities that are out in the world. And this is one of them. So really with this channel, my goal is to bring the information out to like regular folks so you understand like life insurance is not just to leave money when you pass away. There's multiple ways to use life insurance while you're alive, and really to make it very simple and easy to understand so you can make a decision for yourself if this is a good fit for you that you want to move forward in adding to your portfolio, or if it's not. And so I love getting comments with questions or concerns that I'm able to address. So one, don't be shy to leave comments. I do read the comments. And sometimes it's just easier for me to make a video like this to respond to a comment rather than typing, because there's usually nuances to the response. And so it's easy to talk through it. And more importantly, if I talk through it, then you can better understand the mechanics and how things work in the policy. So you can kind of think through these questions yourself in a way and better understand how this works, right? Because if you don't understand how it works, then you're going to have a skewed belief on whether it's for you or whether it's not for you. So this comment, I was on a video where I was just explaining or talking through numbers on a policy. And JZK 2020 left a comment saying, "You forgot to mention that if she stops paying or misses payments on her policy, it will lapse." So there's two parts to this, right? So first concern is like, will stopping payments cause your policy to lapse? And second concern is, will missing payments like cause a policy to lapse? So I'm going to talk through the stopping payments first. And so if we are getting an IUL and our goal is to primarily use it, right, for cash value, for the cash growth, then what that means is that IUL is going to be designed specifically to make that happen, right? So you can have an IUL where the primary goal is just the life insurance, right? And that's going to be built differently versus an IUL where we want to maximize and have as much cash growing as possible. And so this gentleman's concern, or maybe it's a lady, I don't know, is like, okay, well, if she stops paying into this and the policy is going to lapse. So you can absolutely get an IUL where you are paying money into it until the day that you pass away. Then it's probably for primarily a death benefit, right? Without seeing it. If you are getting an IUL and the goal is to grow cash, then it absolutely should have a date where you are going to stop putting payments in there. Whether that date is 7 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20, or more than that, it depends on how the policy is built out. But there absolutely should be a date where you are stopping to put payments in there. And the way that it works is that, remember, when you're getting an IUL, part of your funds are going towards the insurance, part of your funds are going towards your cash. So essentially, the funds that are going into the cash bucket, you are essentially paying for your insurance in advance. So an IUL is a permanent policy, so there will be a cost of insurance until the day that you pass away. But if we're building this out correctly, where we are maximizing our cash, then we should have so much money that's been built up from interest and so much money that continues to grow from interest that you start to have money available in your cash that's going to pay for your policy until the day that you pass away. So if you have a policy being built out where you have to, like, mandatory put funds in until the day that you pass away, it's probably not built out to maximize your cash, because you shouldn't have to do that, right? You should have enough funds in your cash bucket, enough funds that have grown from interest, enough future funds that are going to be growing from interest where you no longer have to put money in to pay for your policy. There is still a cost of your insurance that's going to be pulled out from your cash, but it shouldn't be coming out of your pocket if that policy has been built out correctly to maximize your cash growing. When we build these policies out, right, we are essentially like planning it out based on how much you're putting in for how much time. So if the plan says that you're gonna pay 500 for 20 years and you stop at year 10, then more likely than not, the policy is going to lapse. Now, it's not going to lapse right away, and I'm going to get into like why that is when I'm talking about the missed payments. So you want to stop paying into this at the time that you said you were going to stop paying into this. If you stop at a different time, then that is going to impact what happens with your policy. And more likely than not, it is going to lapse eventually. So to clarify that, right, you should be stopping your payments at a specific point, but you should stop that payment at the time that you said you would, at the time that this policy was built out, because the numbers that you're looking at, the probability of the policy like working well, is based on the plan that we put in place when we start this policy. Which is why it's really important to have your policy built out correctly from the beginning so that it functions properly and does what it's supposed to do and lasts until you pass away. I do have a checklist that you can use to make sure that your IUL is built out in order to maximize your cash growing, so you do not have to pay into it until the day that you pass away. Go ahead and drop the word checklist in the comments if you would like a copy of that. Let's go to the other part of the question, which is missing payments. I want to just remind you that when you are getting an IUL that is designed specifically to focus on cash growth, a small amount of money goes towards paying for your insurance, a large amount of money goes towards your personal bank. So let's say you were putting in $10,000 a year, $2,000 is going towards your cost of insurance, and $8,000 is going in your personal bank. What that means is there is $8,000 available in your bank that the insurance company is going to tap into first before they actually shut down your policy, right? So if something happens, like you lose your job, your cost of insurance is $1,000 a month, but you have $10,000 in your personal bank, then you have a few years of leeway, essentially, where your policy can still keep going, even though you are not paying into it. Because the insurance company is going to start taking the actual minimum amount, the actual cost of insurance, in order to pay for your life insurance, right? Remember, you paying extra is because of the way that we designed it, right? We are using life insurance rules to our example to allow you to put in more money than you need to. On the part of the life insurance company, right, you don't have to put all the money in for your actual life insurance to be intact. It's important that you put in the money that you plan to, because the future of your policy rests on you putting the funds in the way that you're supposed to, because as you get older, your policy is going to get more expensive. And so we want to front load our funds ahead of time, just based on the way that these types of policies work, right? The way the policy works, your cost of insurance is based on how much is in your cash versus what your life insurance payout is. And so what we want to do is close the gap on that as quickly as possible before you get super older, so that your cost of insurance when you are older, when you're taking money out of your personal bank, is not going to be anything debilitating. And so can you miss payments and your policy will continue? Yes. Can you miss payments and your policy can lapse? Yes. It depends on how much is in your cash bucket and when you miss this payment exactly. So if you miss it on like the second month that you have this policy, then you're more likely to have a policy lapse. if you didn't put a lot of money in to begin with, right? It's not going to lapse immediately because you're going to have some funds in there, but it's going to lapse pretty quickly. Whereas if you've had this policy for, 4 or 5 years and it is built for cash value, where more of your money is going towards cash, then you have a lot of cash that's like in your personal bank that can cover you for a long period of time before your policy lapses. So it's important to remember that like this does not work like a regular life insurance policy. Regular life insurance policy, you miss a payment, you're out. That's it. With this type of policy where we are front loading money, we're putting in more than we need to, we're covering more than the actual life insurance, then there is more leeway for you to miss, right? And like adjust. But the longer you've had your policy, the more you've been putting into it, the less you have been like playing with the numbers and putting in less than you should have, then the more flexibility you have to miss those payments or stop those payments and still have your policy work for you and not have a policy lapse. Generally, IULs are pretty forgiving in terms of like missed payments or stop payments, in terms of keeping your policy going in the short term. But in terms of having a policy work well in the long term, I want to stress that it's really important to follow the plan that you have in place. You can always put in more. Putting in more than you plan for is perfectly fine. Putting in less that you plan for is going to cause you some problems down the line, and it's going to make it more likely that your policy is not going to work as well as it's supposed to. Your policy being built out correctly to begin with is important. Drop the word checklist if you want a copy of the checklist that you can look at to make sure that yours is being built out correctly. But also important on your part is to follow the plan like that was put in place when the policy was built in order for your policy to work well for you so you can save on taxes and have your money work hard for you.